Daniella, I just wanted to really say thank you very much. The reason that I chose and invited you to be part of this Intuitive Australia is also to acknowledge you for the amazing space that you provide for people when they're on the start of their spiritual path and journey. And I know that from sitting as a student in your classes and your workshops, I had no clue about these intuitive abilities. It's been a fun couple of years, but really just to acknowledge the fact that you provide a safe space that's non-judgmental and easy for people to step onto their path with confidence and with ease. And my hope today is that more people will be watching, people who are like me who didn't know about this, and then they will be inspired by you and seek to connect in that space. So thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me on here.
Cool. Awesome.
Great.
So really what I want to look at is your journey and how it all unfolded for you. Because for me, where I struggled to step onto the path is for so long, I thought you had to be born psychic, born intuitive, and you just knew from get-go. And I didn't. And then and through this, I'm realizing that I'm not the only one. So I want to therefore inspire others. So for you, your intuitive abilities, when did you become aware of them?
Well, I wasn't one of those people that knew as a child that I was psychic either. I wasn't brought up in a house where we talked about psychic abilities. I didn't see dead people. I didn't see angels or anything like that. So when I was always a sensitive child. So I always was like, I was a very feeling child. So things would move me. And I always knew if someone was lying or telling the truth. I had like an inner truth detector. So that was always there. But in terms of my intuitive abilities, when they really kicked in, I think I was around 21, 22 when they really kicked in. I remember when I was 18, I ran into someone on the street that was a palm reader. And I know it was quite amazing now. And I realize now that I was ready at that point when I was 18. I was ready to begin on the journey. The guides were like, "You're ready now." And they read my palm. And I remember going, "Oh my God, this is the most amazing thing in the world. Like, what are you doing? I can't believe people are actually doing this. Like, this is only something I've seen in the movies." And this kind of excitement within me, I had to learn palmistry. So I learned palmistry for a few years, and I was doing, I was always asking people for their palm. And then I remember one day I was sitting in the back of the car with someone, and I was reading their palm, and all of a sudden I started to get images and feelings and thoughts. And I knew that they were intuition, and I said them, and that was the beginning of things really kicking onto a new level.
Right.
Whereas before it was just,
How did it feel then to start trusting those feelings?
Oh gosh, it was a journey. It was a journey of trusting, because to really speak your truth and to speak what is there for you inside, it's a very vulnerable space to be in. To actually say, like, this is what I'm getting, and I trust it, even though you don't have any like logical information that that's actually the truth. So it was definitely quite a journey to trusting what I'm getting. And it's still something that I'm presented with where I get something, say I know something about someone, and I get something else, and I'm like, this is what I'm getting, and the outside world does not reflect that at all.
Yes.
And it's really like the journey of actually trusting my wisdom before what I see with my physical, what I see with my eyes, what I touch, all the physical senses. That's quite a journey. I think it's quite a journey for most of us.
It is. It's like you're jumping off a cliff, really, at times. But you know that somebody somewhere, something has your back. But it is that leap of faith, in the bigger thing. So who did you connect with along your journey to help you build that confidence? How did you go from that step of interest in you said interest in palmistry, you wanted to learn it. So how did it all unfold for you?
Well, I did a lot of self-study. So I got palmistry books out. I looked on YouTube. I did a lot of the palmistry by myself. And then what happened was, as my guides were, started to help me to activate my gifts, then they started leading me to different teachers. So I did the Doreen Virtue Angel Intuitive. I did that 3 times.
Ooh, wow.
I just couldn't get enough. So it was just
like, to be sure.
Yeah. I just I could not get enough of that I could not get enough of it. Every time I went to that course, I was just in heaven. I mean, you're surrounded by people who are angels, as you can imagine.
Yeah,
how many
beautiful
angels
space.
are in those courses. So Doreen Virtue's had a profound and significant, she's a big part of my path, and she's been a great teacher. I listened to a lot of her radio interviews on Hay House, and I remember when I was 19 and I started to really listen to Doreen Virtue. I didn't think that I had any gifts, but I remember every week I would listen. I was at uni, I'd listen, and it was heaven. It was heaven. It was heaven for my soul. It was heaven for my heart. And like, once again, looking back, I know that's because it was my life purpose, and something within me saying, learn more, learn more, learn more. So Doreen Virtue, I've had so many teachers over the years. One of the biggest ones has been Avril Norman.
Great.
Avril Norman, she's just incredible. Actually, her website, avrilnorman.com, she does a lot of online classes, and she does readings, and she's just a powerhouse, force of nature, phenomenal woman, the sweetest and yet most powerful woman I've ever met.
At the same time.
So she's quite phenomenal, and she's held my hand through a lot of it. And if there was one piece of advice I'd love to give to people is definitely don't feel like you need to do it by yourself.
Yes.
And if you're being drawn to someone, really trust yourself. The teacher that you're being drawn to is the right teacher for you. And they're different teachers at different times. So they might find a teacher that's right for a while, and then find that you're being drawn to another teacher, and that's great. Then maybe you've learned what you needed to from that teacher, and it's time for a new one.
That's awesome. So, and as you kind of unfolded and then grew more in confidence, how did you take that leap to what I kind of think of as like coming out of the psychic closet, and actually give public readings, or see clients? How did you take that leap of faith? It's all good knowing. I think there's a lot of people who'll be watching who kind of have a good idea, but they're sitting and the reason I even did this in this format is because people are at home going, maybe I'm the only one, and it's to reach them and go, you're not strange, more people out there.
Yeah.
How did you take that leap from doing it at home, self-teaching, to then actually having the courage to take that brave step?
And there's so many people with the gifts that aren't doing much with it. And it's so important for people like us to be in this sort of format, to be reaching people that know that they've got the gifts, and yet they're too scared to come out of the spiritual closet. Like, what will their friends think, or will they be, a lot of people have that, what's called imposter syndrome. So they feel like they're fake. Yes. A lot of people have that. It's not just psychics, it's counselors, it's psychologists, it's all of that. They're almost there's a fear that they're going to be found out for being a fraud.
Oh, I remember it so clearly. Yeah.
So in terms of my journey of coming out of the spiritual closet, that's an interesting one. I think, in terms of sharing with people what I do, and that's been a process, and who should I tell, and will they be okay with it? So I kind of, I still navigate that. I still, I share with people what I do, but I may not say, I may use different language. And in terms of actually starting the readings, like I started doing readings when I was 22 professionally. I was doing partner readings from 18. So I've been doing readings professionally for about 8 years. And I just had the mantra, feel the fear and do it anyway. Feel the fear and do it. I would just say that over and over and over to myself. And also something that Doreen Virtue said that really helped me, which was, when I get nervous, I focus on service. So when I get nervous, I focus on service. So it's like, there's going to be nerves, there's going to be fear there, especially if it's something that's vulnerable. But really going, okay, so why am I doing this? It's for service. This work is for service. So kind of remove yourself out of the equation, and helps you be present, and then everything works. Everything goes in.
Absolutely. And what have you enjoyed most about these last 8 to 10 years? Like, what's been the fun part?
It's been the fun part. I think getting to use the gifts for my own life. I know that it just kind of is contradicting what I just said. It's all for service.
No, but you get to use it yourself. Yes.
Yeah. So, I really get to, because I'm involved in the work and I'm constantly, clearing my channel to be able to do this work, so that's very important. I find that I'm able to ask myself the questions for my own life. Is this right for my path? And then tune in and go, well, what's the answer to that? So, it really, it's as much as it is for others as it is for self. And I found on this path that it's almost like I've had someone next to me, or maybe a whole group of guides and angels next to me, that have just been with me. So I don't feel like I'm walking blindly through the dark. It's like I've got this roadmap that not many other people do to help me forward. And you know what? They've really helped me to, create great relationships. They've helped me to get my finances in order. They've helped me with so many things in my life. So in terms of fun, I don't know if that's fun, but it's been a really great thing that's come out of it.
And I think for me, it's been fun. That's probably why it's a word that I use is it's not scary. It's not weird. For me, it's just like I've got really cool invisible friends, so many different signs that they'll show me, either guidance that I'll receive very clearly or signs in the universe, like the numbers and the number plates or all numbers. And they just make me laugh. It just makes me laugh. I just go, you guys are just so funny. And
I know they've got amazing sense of humor.
Yeah. And it's good like that. And so then you've then taken a step further from your private sessions, and you're also doing workshops and developing awesome programs. So what called you to do that?
So the workshops and the classes, because I run weekly meditation classes, which obviously you came to for many years.
Yes.
And I run workshops now and courses as well. So 6-week courses. I run day workshops and half-day workshops. And my passion is to really, not just, doing readings is great, but, what I'm really passionate about is showing to people that they've got the gifts as well. And that everyone has the psychic potential. And that also, I'm finding that where a lot of my courses and classes are going is in the really having all areas of life work, yes, using psychic, but, using the intuition to have all areas work. So it's also that self-development aspect. So, I think the workshops for me is important because I want to arm people with the tools to have their life work and to connect with spirit to have their life work, because there's a place for that. And I think that's what's been lacking for so many people, and also on a societal community level as well. I think that's been lacking. So it's empowering. It's empowering people to do that.
And I think also having your whole life work is so important, because having just one aspect, to be it spiritual, and often we try and escape to the spiritual plane sometimes because life isn't working. And it's about having that balance and that boundary.
Yes.
To have that there. And what I've loved about your workshops and the weekly meditation classes, they're just accessible and they're real. And you just meet people like you. So that's what's great. You meet a diverse range of people. And it's awesome like that. Well, I know one of the big takeaways that I've always got from working together is the importance of energetic boundaries. That's why I know that you were my first teacher. I know for a fact that that's why it's arranged, and the importance of that. So for those who are watching who never heard the phrase energetic boundaries, can you share what that is and the importance of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So energetic boundaries, I know there's this definition on Wikipedia that was really great. It was something like as personal boundaries, different from energetic, but it relates to the same thing. It's those guidelines that we put in place that teach others the permissible ways that they can treat us, and also what we do if they overstep those ways. So if they do something that, doesn't fit inside of, like, this is the way I want to be treated. And in terms of energetic boundaries, what I found is if you're someone that can easily say no to someone, look, if someone makes a request of you and you can say no, and that's your truth, and you're able to activate your throat chakra and actually, speak your truth, I actually find that on an energetic level, you've got the ability to put up boundaries as well. And what I find is that when you don't know your boundaries, first of all, but also not able to put them in place and execute them and let people know what they are, I find that people actually overstep those boundaries. Yes. So I find that, I'll have clients that will keep saying, another question, just one more question, Daniella, just one more question. And then I find that whenever that happens in a session, that I have to go, okay, so where am I not putting boundaries up? Okay. And I think it's important, especially because light workers, psychics, healers, they want to give so much. And somehow I think, and it was true for me, and that's why I teach about boundaries, is because I had to learn a lesson in this. I wanted to give so much. I wanted to you know, be that person that helps people and saves people. And somehow it was kind of wrapped up in my self-worth a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was part of like, oh, this is who I am. And I think when I really got that, I was able to go, okay, so what's going to empower this person is to actually empower them to know that they've got the guide within themselves and that I'm not the go-to person. You know, I can guide them, I can provide the guidance, but ultimately to go, okay, you've got the power within you as well. You know, you've got that ability to tap in. So that, you know, and I'm kind of talking about in a roundabout way, but that's all boundaries, you know, that's all with boundaries. So
I think that's it. And I've really realized the importance of the self-care to be able to switch off. And I have set it so that it's on my terms that I receive guidance. You know, I am of service, but one of the big ways that I've taken the boundaries work is that it is on my terms, and I literally do not get any guidance unless I invite it in. You know, and that's cool. I don't want to go to Coles and then hear from loads of people in spirit of the lady. I just don't want to do that. It's not a value for me. It works for a lot of people, but it's not for me because it's energetically. I think I've realized you don't realize how much you're drained. And if you cannot give if you're not full.
Absolutely. And I think I used to be the sort of person that thought that I needed to be open to everyone's stuff all the time. And I also set the boundary that I only receive things in sessions.
Yes.
Or if I consciously ask for it. Other than that, I'm not tuning in. I don't want to know. It's none of my business.
No.
It's none of my business. And I get that, you know, that there are some psychics that, you know, really want to help and that it's coming from a really great place. And it's also like for ourselves, like if we're really clear with our boundaries, we'll find that our energy levels are so much higher. You know, we're in control. We open up. We're in control where we just want to be human. Yes. You know, we just want to experience that.
One of the things you touched on is very accurate. It's the whole sensitivity of often that light workers have, and they don't relate that sensitivity and therefore also that exhaustion to having an intuitive gift.
Yes.
And I see that in a lot of people now. It's like you feel this way because you know you really are picking up on everybody's energy, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm sure you see that quite a lot.
Yes.
So if there's somebody that's watching now and they can relate to picking up that the feelings or just guidance particularly when they're around a lot of people, or if they feel particularly exhausted when they're around a group of people, what are the first steps do you think you would guide people to take to manage their energy or to understand it a bit more?
So the first step is awareness. So the first thing that I usually teach with that is ask yourself the question, is this mine or is this someone else's? Is this someone else's energy that I picked up on? So that's the first step, is just really kind of asking yourself that question, because a lot of people do feel drained when they go to shopping centres. Like they walk in feeling really great, really high energy, and then they walk out drained, maybe moody, maybe aggravated, maybe upset. And they've picked up on a whole lot of energy from their environment. And they're not aware that they have, and they think it's just them. So I think the first thing is, okay, is this mine? Did I pick it up from someone else? That's the first step. Second step is know that any time that you think about anyone, you're making an energetic link to them. So if you are in a shopping centre, I talk about shopping centres a lot.
Yes.
If you're in a shopping centre and you have a thought like, I wonder if that person is spiritual, or I wonder what that person's life is like, or I wonder if they're unhappy, or I wonder if they're happy, or whatever it might be, you make an energetic link with them, and you actually do get energetic feedback through your chakras, because we've got such an amazing chakra system, energy system, that as soon as we put our focus on something, we do start to get energetic feedback from it. So it's really, for me, I used to inquire in my thoughts into everyone's business and get a lot of feedback back. So I think also just noticing, especially when you're in really busy environments, keep your thoughts inwards if you can. If you feel like you're extra sensitive, you know, ultimately, I think another good thing to touch upon is, you know, whenever we have a judgment about anything, we pick up on energy. So ultimately, we can connect with all people at all times, and feel like there's no loss of energy at all. That's the ultimate. But, you know, until you get to that point, there are certain things that you can do.
Yeah.
Like just keep your thoughts inwards, not inquiring into people's energy, especially when you're in busy environments. Grounding meditations. Grounding is fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, really strengthens.
And with yourself now that you're in the space of holding a space for a larger group of people, you know, and energetically that, how do you look after yourself, you know, to make sure that you are of service?
Yes. So I will always ground.
Mm-hmm.
I always ground before I do any session or before a meditation. I will always call in my guides and angels. I supercharge my energy. This is ideally, by the way, because obviously we're human. There are times when I don't do that. I really notice
I'm so glad you said that, because, you know, I think everyone feels like, oh, I haven't done a good job because I haven't done all of it. And I'm like that too. I do it 80% of the time. And so you said, so you supercharge yourself, ground yourself.
Yeah, and when I say, exactly. I bring in the guides. I connect. There's many different ways, and you know what? One of the biggest things for me is keeping my chakras really clear and energized. So that might look like doing meditations. That might look like going out in nature and really clearing out my chakras. So, you know, as long as my chakras are clear, and you know, then I find that my sessions and my classes are clear as well. And also I'm looking after my energy, because as a sensitive and someone that's opening up psychically, you'll find that you do pick up on things that other people aren't even aware of. And if you're kind of aware of that and then you clear out your chakras, you're not left with anything, and it's not, you don't have to withdraw from life when you look after yourself. You don't have to, you know, a lot of spiritual people get to that point where like they can't be around other people. They can't be around, I've heard the word used, muggles. Like non-spiritual people, like, you know, Harry Potter, people call them.
Right, I haven't heard that. That's interesting.
I just heard that the other day, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. But you know, ultimately we don't want to get to that point where we've just withdrawn from the world and we're not powerful in the world, and you know, our life gets kind of smaller and smaller because we feel so sensitive. So ground, do meditations, understand your gifts, you know, really clear out your chakras. Like I said before, that's a big one. Do things that look after your energy, and you'll find that you'll actually move towards life instead of withdraw from life.
That's really cool. And I think a question that a lot of people always ask themselves, and I'm sure you've asked yourself this and others, you've seen others ask, you know, my life purpose. As people start to awaken, they really are present to the fact that they're here for a purpose. They're not necessarily sure what that purpose is, but they're here for a purpose. So do you feel like you've discovered your purpose?
Yes. Awesome. Yes, I do. Absolutely, without a doubt.
I've got goosebumps. You have.
Without a doubt.
What is it? Share.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, yeah. It's without a doubt. I mean, new parts of my purpose are constantly unfolding. Not like I know my purpose now and now I'm doing the same thing. There's as I learn and grow and evolve, and as I say yes to opportunities that are presented to me, my guides, the universe, higher self, whatever you want to call it, different energies different times, they present new things because they're like, okay, you've passed that level, now it's time for the next level. And you know, that might be, okay, now you get out there and be a speaker. And I'm like, oh, really? Now? Like workshops, online classes, readings, healings aren't enough. Now I'm a speaker. So, you know, the more you say yes, even if you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I don't know myself to be that person yet. But if you're getting the calling, yes, do it, then it unfolds even more. So the short answer, yes.
Yeah, and that's perfect, because I think what you had wrapped up as well in that answer is say yes, even if you feel like you're not quite ready. You know, when you're doing it of service, you'll be surprised what shows up. Because there's every step along the way as you're stretching and growing, from doing your first reading for a private client to doing it at festivals to speaking, you know, to being public. You've got your voice in your head that goes, oh my God, that's ridiculous. You can't do it. But you know of service that you can, and it'll happen. It's scary, but just do it. And what you said is, I feel the fear and do it anyway. And it's never that bad.
Yes. And know that if you're getting the guidance, the calling, you are ready.
Mm.
You're ready.
Yeah.
You're ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
Yeah.
don't need an authority figure to tap you on the
No.
shoulder to say you are ready.
Mm.
That's one thing I learned, is be your own authority figure.
Yes.
You
That's
say when you're
awesome.
ready.
Yeah, you choose. I love that. And that's it, because I think too often as well, people feel like they have to have done every course under the sun to then be ready. I will be ready when I do this and when
Yes.
I do that. And it's that procrastination. And procrastination is just fear.
Yeah.
Yes, it's awesome to expand your awareness and knowledge, but don't limit yourself by that. You know, it is
Yes.
there, it is part of you. Just set it free. So how can
Yes.
people find out more about you? Because I've no doubt that it's going to really resonate with your energy and your passion.
Yeah.
So where do they go?
Yeah. So you can go to my website, which is
Mm-hmm.
daniellacowen.com.
Cool. We'll put
And
a link in for that.
yes, okay, great. And it has information about me, about my sessions, about my classes, about my workshops, about my new courses coming up.
Cool.
And yeah, that's how you find
Exciting.
me.
That's
Mm.
cool. Yay. That's it. We're done.
Great.
Yeah, see that? Look.